right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Given, episode 9.
All
the
right.
concert, the gig.
Concert.
It's happening.
Yeah.
And everyone's here.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Literally everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's crazy how almost like they basically took all these disparate characters and different kind of relationships, connections, situations, what have you, named all of them, and they're literally all going to be here for this performance here.
And not only do we still not have lyrics, but also we're having an in-band fight that resulted in one of these strings being snapped. And I get the feeling that has more meaning than just, okay, we need to replace a guitar string.
Right.
So, yeah. This will be interesting.
This will be really interesting because I could see it being a thing where they quickly run off the two of them and to go get a guitar string they need to grab and they talk about their things about during on the way and it's chaotic, it's messy, it's crazy, and then they come back and they've got the lyrics.
Apologies and maybe love confession right before they go on stage.
Maybe who knows? But it's just a really quick. Let's go. And then of course they've got their people in the background being like, the next band, encore.
Right.
Yeah.
But this is also not the end of the series, and it almost feels like it's being set up like it's some big dramatic finale, but it isn't. So is it going to go badly? If it does, how badly is it going to go? You know, will we even really be caring about what happens at the gig by the time that this is over? Or will it be more about other more serious stuff? Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah. So let's see where all the characters kind of fall in this regard. Let's see how a lot of the people in the audience react to kind of the just goings on.
Yep.
And then, hey, if we get a performance, what kind of lyrics or song would you like to bring to this, Mafiu? Because everyone's got their stuff prepped, but can't wait to see what you bring. So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, then come back here for the discussion. Damn, y'all, that hit different.
Yeah.
Because we've now heard his song, and it's beautiful.
Yep.
And it's so sad because you can very easily see the setup for this, that he lives with someone basically walking alongside him.
Right.
And thus he's never lonely.
Yeah.
that little connection was very well set up there. So
and seeing all the places that he was walking through when he was alone.
Then we now see the context of he was never alone walking through all those places. He was not only with Yuki, but he was with himself and Yuki from the past, going through all
memories
these
and
experiences and memories and just sharing them together and checking to see, would he forget?
Right.
Would he forget? And while he might forget in 10 years, for now, no, he remembers very well. It's a haunting. It's a curse. It's something like a spell that won't break. It's something that holds tightly to him. And
I gotta say, I really love how they decided to also show the thing that was haunting Mafiu most of all. The final words that he said to him.
Yeah.
Right? Are you willing to die for me?
Yeah.
Because, the way that, this whole scene is set up, right? Of course we're wanting Mafiu to sing, right? Because that can be the thing that's measurable by which we can then see the emotional development in him of being able to process and let go and just experience everything in full, right? But the idea of also having a technical point that stuck in his mind the most. It's not just that he lost Yuki, right? But the part that he believes he played in that, right? And it felt almost like it had a similar feeling to me as the string breaking in the previous episode, where it's like, it's sudden, it's quick, it just happens, right? It doesn't distract much from the song at all, right? But it happens, and oh, yeah, okay, there we go. We didn't know that was something he was holding on to, of course, right? Because, that's too private of information for us, the audience, to even realize until he is able to truly face it and accept that that happened. And I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah. The emotion of this song just really hits, I would say, quite well, because love stories in general are things that are, I would say, very easy to get a connection with some percentage of people that are going to experience your story, because a lot of people have experienced different types of love.
Yep.
But I think one of the ones that's really powerful that most epic love stories go into is the idea of love lost. And it's this thing that takes many forms. It doesn't have to be death related. It can actually be with something with regards to just the passage of time, and
it could forget
about it.
It could just be harsh words that are exchanged that, that
can't
be taken back. Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it can be something as silly or as inconsequential as a little incident in time. But the idea is that most people never forget the love lost.
No.
That's the thing that's crazy about this, is that because in some ways of what happened with Yuki, Mafuyu might never forget this until he's able to move on. And not everyone does. And I think that that's something that's really powerful here, is that while Mafuyu's situation is one that's much more recent, like this is not something that happened 10 years ago. This is something that happened much more recently.
Yeah.
It's still something where he's been incapable of moving on until even remotely now, with this song that he's finally been able to sing. Something that he's kept inside him for all this time. Back when he was with Yuki, when he loved him and they were together and they were having such a wonderful, happy time sharing firsts together. And that's
right.
It's just pure and perfect. And yet, no, that song was just a hum back then.
Yep.
In some ways, one of the things that the songwrites will, constantly refer to is the idea of, something being so good, but never knowing how good it was until it's been taken away. Something that was so perfect and pure and beautiful, but you can never really appreciate it truly until you realize that it's gone. Like that you had it and now it's no longer there.
And that's
the emotion of that is so deep and rich and painful that I feel like this show was the perfect delivery mechanism for this kind of feeling, because a lot of this is a very atmospheric, slow-paced, introspective story.
9 episodes before we actually see the band truly perform together.
Express, if you will. Like, Mafuyu has expressed a lot of emotion, for sure, but expressing it so freely and in a totality, such as this, it took 9 episodes to do that.
Because of course it did.
Yeah, of course it did, yeah.
It would feel odd if it didn't, right? Yeah.
Oh.
And we got some pretty fantastic emotional expression from other characters in the show. And I like that they did that, because it makes it so that it's even though Mafuyu is the lead singer, he is the character with the biggest struggle, I would say.
Sure.
Not to compare them or anything, but
Yeah, but he's effectively the main character along with Uenoyama. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
This was also a big moment for the band as a whole.
Yes.
Right?
Very big deal. Yeah.
Uenoyama, afterwards, he kissed him. Like, okay. Yeah, he was already processing a lot of emotions, and there you just gave him some more. Like, all right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Way to go, dude.
I am rich with feelings right now regarding this, because on some level, I was kind of shocked, because I didn't think that Uenoyama was the kind of person that would just take the leap, basically.
Oh, because he hasn't been up till now.
Well, he's been kind of bumbling around, if anything. And I didn't feel like there was anything that he was getting from Kaji or Haruki that was basically like
a push.
Go,
right, because it was, Kaji was very much giving him the space.
And thus I feel like this was just raw expression on his part, where he was like so happy to be doing this with Mafuyu.
Sure.
That he's like,
maybe now I have the ability, the courage, the etc. fill in the blank to even if I am not putting it into words,
I'm inspired
to put my feelings on display for you.
Right. You put your feelings out, and in some ways, I'm just wanting to match you here.
Right.
And that's because I love doing this with you, so I love you. Here you go. And then Mafiu just well,
yeah.
oh. And,
right.
and obviously we knew that they loved each other. This was not something that was some like
there was a reason why Mafiu
surprise.
Was following Uenoyama around, even before like he got brought into the band and everything.
Right. Because while there was definitely a difference between them spending time together and actually going out, there was also just a really good thing with this as well. There were quite a few specific key moments that built up to an actual, physical confession, if you will, even though this wasn't an actual true confession.
Right. Uenoyama will still, practice on the whole words thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, in some ways, Uenoyama has some firsts he's got to cross the hurdles of.
Exactly.
So that's going to be fun to see.
And he might be following Mafiu in that regard.
Exactly, and Mafiu might be able to lead in that area. Mm-hmm. We saw Kaji and Haruki having a really tender, sweet moment as well, where there was a lot of affirmation going from Kaji to Haruki, meaning that Haruki is the one that feels kind of invisible at times.
Yeah.
And thus, this was a moment where he was seen and probably made him feel on cloud fucking 9.
Yep. And
so that's amazing.
And I love that it was that was it also the communication of some potential feelings that Kaji might have? Maybe. But the thing is that it's not about whether or not Kaji likes Haruki, right? It's about whether or not they are able to have that deep connection.
Yeah.
And then from that, then of course, who knows what could happen, right?
Who knows, yeah.
And so the thing that was being addressed of being invisible is what happened, not whether or not Kaji finds, is attracted to Haruki, right?
Yeah.
So I loved that. That was wonderful. And the fact that Kaji knew to say that, because there was no real like outside pressure like to make it happen or anything like that, he could have not done that, not said what he said, and I'm sure their dynamic would have continued just fine for years, but he did, because it does mean a lot to him.
We're in the expression territory now, which
exactly.
is cool, because in a lot of ways I kind of was getting that feeling from the beginning of their little interaction there, that the mangaka was like, haha, why are you waving your death flag around everywhere? Like that got me so good. I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
The modern writer using their lingo and inserting it into the characters' dialogue for that kind of stuff.
Because even characters that are, like they write music, not stories, right? But even then it's like, okay, hold on, like it's almost is this an anime? Like.
But it was really cute and sweet because in a sadistic kind of way, seeing dramatic, romantic, or at the very least emotional growth from a character, with the other character being not necessarily aware of where that's coming from, could feel like almost like a bit of a death flag.
Oh yeah,
which is really funny.
Right,
So
there's as frustrating as those kinds of like overly tragic character deaths can be, there's a reason why they're done. Because if you build up the attachment to a character and then immediately, kill them or have something horrible happen to them or whatever that makes them feel things and the people that care about them feel things and stuff, your audience will also feel things.
Right. And I don't think that's what we're building up to at all. I just thought it was like a really funny meta joke of like, hey, this is a very big moment, but it also wasn't really, from Haruki's perspective, it wasn't foreshadowed enough. So he's like,
right, exactly. He was very much surprised by this.
What's going on here?
Because Kaji is a heartbreaker.
And I would say that from our boy Mafiu's perspective here, this was something where him clinging so tightly to Enoyama here and thanking him was not something of a specific invitation of
Nope.
I want to take our relationship to the next level.
Oh, no.
This was pure relief and joy and gratitude. And it's just,
Yeah.
you don't know how much what you've done means to me. And then the kiss, and he starts crying.
Right.
And he starts crying, and he keeps crying. And it's just this thing of where I resonate so much with Mafuyu's emotional journey here, because his desire to express himself at a true level is a very, very powerful primal thing that I think every human being desires. But the idea of him bearing this pain of realizing that there was a point where he felt things to this level, like he felt things to this extreme, and he got burned by that. That was something that that tore him apart and left him all how it left him.
Struggling in the echoes, or whatever the tagline is that they show in the OP.
Lost
in the echoes. Yeah.
Right. That's the tagline for but specifically with the idea of love lost in combination with expression, this reminds me of a lot of my favorite stories growing up that for whatever reason always like brought me to tears. Like for whatever reason, there's like specific stories that bring up the idea of relationships that are doomed, basically.
You mind giving some examples?
Well, no, not really right now. I'm more just wanting to bring it up in a general kind of aspect here because I think if this story continues in the long haul, basically, that we go for the longer form side of things here, I don't think Uenoyama and Mafuyu's relationship is doomed to fail. But I think I'm getting the signal in my mind that I need to buckle up, because this is not going to be easy.
Well,
and it's not that it's not going to be easy; it's that it's not going to be. It's not going to be all fun and wonderful, because right now, this is about the characters learning how to express themselves more truly, and as that comes about, a lot of the stuff that's been kept underneath the surface across a bunch of the characters here, they'll be more comfortable with bringing that stuff up, and people are not always ready to handle your stuff.
Yeah.
And this is a really just hard fact of life, is that sometimes the people that are the closest to you are not the ones that are actually capable of handling your stuff. So I'm already worrying for my boys.
Yeah. One of the things that this development makes me both excited for and also worried for is what's the conflict moving forward in the story. Because the whole thing of them being a band together, okay, great. But like, there hasn't been some like big goal of like, this is what we're going to do as a band. It's just, we're going to be a band. And then, like social media was mentioned and things like that. So, okay, that's an avenue where it could progress further.
I would say it's a pretty simple goal for now, is that they just keep doing this.
No, totally. And then with the band, so that's the band side of things, right?
Yeah.
And then the other side of things is the relationship side of things. While they might not be in a relationship yet, the emotions have been communicated, right? And I always love to see that kind of post-confession stuff in stories, because I feel like it happens very rarely. And while yes, we're getting closer to the end, of the season, there's a movie and there's an OVA, so it's like
it's definitely not over in terms of its adaptation.
Right. As far as runtime, we're about in the middle. I think, like
there could be more after the movie and OVA.
No,
there's nothing saying
that's
that
true. That's a great point. Yeah, we don't even necessarily know if it ends.
Yeah,
and if that's the case, that could be something where we get like amazing, wonderful, wholesome developments of them figuring out the relationship and things like that.
Yeah, I think that'll be part of it.
Yeah, but then there could potentially be another part of it where then additional conflicts and struggles come in that could get very painful.
Yeah, I think my more thing is the idea that the natural conflict that's already set up to be the thing that is not resolved yet is the actual expressing of the innermost pains and processes that they're all going through. And when you do that, it's not easy intrinsically to handle that in a way that is respectful and conscientious of the other person, even if your intentions are really good.
Oh yeah.
So I think that the part that's probably the most like obvious as a conflict moving forward is that we had a band already that collapsed.
That's true.
So the only like real conflict they need in this story is just keep the band together.
Right.
Like because Mafuyu has already experienced the band falling apart kind of thing. So we have a setup as an opposite, basically, something to contrast it with.
Right.
That is, that's where things can go wrong. We had Yuki dying. We had the band falling apart. We had relationships sundered. We had a lack of communication. We had isolation. We had trauma. We had emotional, just all kinds of stuff there. So as long as we can basically just use that as that's the pit over there. The other pit is we become so successful that we end up having to deal with love triangle stuff. And that's probably not anywhere close to happening at this time.
Yeah, and even the whole thing of the band falling apart, one of the things that is a nice, even though I absolutely believe that will be a worry of Mafuyu, a fear of his, he's in the band now, right? The problem before was that he felt like the band was a replacement, It was stealing away, his time with Yuki, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully that won't necessarily be an issue because, they're in the band together, right?
Right.
But yeah, I would absolutely love for this show to be just smooth sailing, sunshine and rainbows and basically therapy from here on out,
Therapy's not always fun, dude.
No, it's absolutely not always fun.
Okay. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Sunshine, rainbows, and therapy.
Yeah, exactly. You've got to have the sunshine and rainbows to help package the therapy, so you can handle it and everything, right? But not like new trauma coming in, right? We have enough of that already, right? But at the same time, I could see that not happening.
I got chills. The girl in the audience that put her hand to her mouth when he kept singing was the part I believe was the lyrics when he was basically saying that the curse, basically the time that you were there is right before the spell won't break. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this was this. Is now wandering around eternally along with me. And then she puts the hand to her mouth. And I think at that moment, the reason why you cut to someone like this, and it might have been this way in the manga or what have you, but the idea that this is something where in his lyrics, it's actually very, clear, even if you don't know who he is or what his story is.
Right, what the details are.
That there's something basically lingering alongside him that was powerful and positive, but is now turned into something that is not necessarily so. And then he confirms that after with the just like a spell that won't break or some kind of curse.
Right.
I'm still holding on to some heavy baggage. What am I supposed to look for in this town? But what I really like about this is that this is very clearly half of a song. I don't know if you noticed this, but they didn't actually finish what I would say is the typical structure of a song here.
Which makes
verse,
sense
chorus,
because
verse.
he hasn't finished the lyrics yet. Yeah.
Oh, right. But I couldn't speak earlier. Verse, chorus, verse. That's what I was trying to say.
Gotcha.
So there's very clearly a point where the chorus will repeat.
Sure.
Relatively should. And then we go into some kind of offshoot verse that's not a verse necessarily. Like a bridge of some kind. And then another verse, and then chorus, or something like that for some typical structure.
Right. This was very short and to the point.
Very short and to the point. And I want to know if he'll write the other half of the song lyrics, taking the present in mind.
Yeah,
not
I like
to
that.
change the past.
Right, but
you can't change the past.
Yeah, right. Because if the song in its truest form has a progression to it as a little microcosm of this story,
yes,
then it makes sense that here the struggle that was done
expressing
expressing the past, dealing with it, all that stuff, right? and then the what does the moving on look like. Theoretically, we could just get that as the rest of the show,
Sure.
you know, and that would be awesome, right? And then
I think that's going to be.
and then we get the full final, you know, song with all of the pieces put together.
Yeah,
that would be amazing.
I think it will definitely be some aspect of that, even if it's not literally a continuation of this song, but he does like a new version of it or something. There's something where it evolves in some way, but the idea that you could say poetically he moved on off the stage, like that was something by like him leaving the stage after that is basically saying, I did my part, I said my piece, I've set out what I need to do, now I need to process this. And Uenoyama basically being the one that takes him off the stage with him, being that they're going to share this moment together, I think was kind of the moment of him being like, I think I can move on.
Right.
And it sucks that I'm going to have to do that, but it doesn't mean I'm going to forget everything.
Yeah.
But that means I'm going to start allowing those little details, like the sweater color, the bus that picked us up, all this stuff to start, eking away.
Yeah, one of the things I was kind of worried about, or not worried about, but I was wondering if it was going to happen, is that once Uenoyama kissed him, if there would be a part of Mafuyu's emotional response to it that wasn't wholly positive, because he feels like, oh no, am I replacing you? Am I forgetting you? You know, that kind of a thing. But he was able to actually be like, no, there's someone else that I like now, right? Like
someone I love now.
Yeah, someone I love now, right? Like it's not just a thing of Mafuyu being able to verbalize it. Like it truly is something where that processing is happening. Like, and I love the detail of him not even knowing like how to cry, like whether it's like a good time to cry, and that's a great detail, because we haven't really seen him do that this entire show until now.
Oh man, Yuki was funny as hell.
Yeah.
The interactions that they had on the beach were hilariously adorable, but also I don't know what they seem to be hinting at with Yuki. But the would you die for me?
Right, because I get the feeling that came after the scene at the beach, right? Because that would have been the last time we saw him. So, yeah, I feel like it's either like dramatic foreshadowing, but we're seeing it after the fact, and or it could be something where there's a reason why he ended up killing himself after the things that Mafuyu said when he was drunk, because I feel like that's the kind of thing that doesn't come out of nowhere. Like, and but at the same time, we don't know too much about Yuki, so I feel like that's kind of going out on a limb.
Yeah, I kind of am really like wanting to just wait and see what the show kind of brings to us, and then take it as it is and piece it together little bit by little bit, and not try to jump ahead, because I feel like with this story, there's so much about Mafuyu's emotional reaction to specific things that seems deeply tied into the experiences he shared with Yuki, because a lot of them were first, probably. But not only that, a lot of how we saw Mafuyu to be in the flashback is just fundamentally different than who Mafuyu is now.
Because, reality hadn't slapped him upside the head too much at that point. I loved that we saw the details of that Yuki was there when his dad was taken away. But it's things were simpler back then, right? He was a lot more carefree with his words, and I would not be surprised if the fact that
that's the limb I'm not wanting to go out on, but I know it's there.
That's why he doesn't say things as freely now.
Oh man, like I don't want to go too in depth into this, but I only know through one degree of separation one person that's committed suicide, but through 2 degrees of separation I know an uncountable number of people that have committed suicide. And it's this kind of thing of where I have more often than not been next to a Mafayu, basically, than Mafayu, if that makes sense.
Sure.
And, yeah, I don't really have anything to say. It's just, it's hard. It's really hard.
One of the things that I am a little worried about with regards to this series is because I don't think the band breaking up, I don't think there's too much of a problem there,
Especially not in the immediate sense.
Especially not in the immediate sense.
No.
The stuff that, it could totally be a fear, but the stuff that was the conflict back then is not the conflict now.
True. Yep.
However, I feel like suicide is like a disease. Like that shit sticks to you when it happens. Even if you like figure out how to process it, like I don't know. I'm worried that could be a problem in the future of this show, even though I don't see why it would be right now, other than the fact that, that was something that Mafayu experienced.
There's a lot of macro reasons that they could get into on the societal level to bring about some commentary with regards to the discrimination of people that are gay and end up feeling isolated to the point of committing suicide.
And that's what I thought it was going to be like, before.
Well, we still don't know. That's the thing. We still don't know.
That's true. That still could have.
That's the reason as to why Yuki committed suicide.
Yeah, that's true.
A lot of it is warped around the fact that, well, for one, our boy Mafayu has a lot of emotions surrounding it, so he doesn't want to go into the details of that.
It could totally get unpacked more, and there could be extra details.
Yeah, that's what I was saying in the beginning of the discussion, is that's probably where most of the conflict will come about, is once he expresses a lot of the feelings surrounding that thing there. It might not be handled in the best way by Uenoyama.
Yeah, this is the dam breaking, but it's not the whole picture,
Yeah, this is the moment where we had cracks in the dam, and now it's been gushed out and let out. Right. His reservoirs are leaking out all over.
But it's going to take a while for that water to run its course,
Right. And the dry farmland is getting irrigated by the waters that
very aggressively.
But are those ruts ready to receive all the deluge that's going to be coming from his innermost heart and what have you? So we'll see. But oh, it's a great show, but y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.